Manufacturing company in Tennessee has become the latest in a long line of companies to be fined for violating child labor laws. The number of child labor violations in this country has hit the highest point we've ever seen in 2 decades. I've got Ring of Fire's Farron Cousins to join me to talk about it. It seems like every week we're doing another story. Either the story is about the big scam, and that's bring in unaccompanied minors from Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, put them to work, pay them slave wages, put them in situations where they're losing arms or they're being killed, right? I mean, this is a weekly story now.
It really is, and that's why it's so important to keep talking about these. You know, the Labor Department, all the way back in September, said we've got over 5,000 incidents here where we've got children, sometimes as young as 14, that are operating heavy machinery that you typically need a special license to handle. But we've got 14-year-old kids out here, which is what just happened in Tennessee, operating this equipment. They don't know how to use it. They have not been fully trained on it, but these companies are doing it and basically getting away with it because a small fine to pay for violating these laws is absolutely nothing. It's the cost of doing business for these folks.
6,000 minors working in violation of child labor laws. That's where we are right now. And so, you know, I don't know how to say this any clearer. I say it all the time. Why the hell can't we be realistic about what's happening with immigration? Why is it that we can't see that as all this was taking place, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce was pushing this administration, we need more immigrants, we need more immigrants. The Associated Industries, where every major corporation in the country was quietly saying, we got to get more immigrants in here. And at the same time, you had the talking heads making it look like it was some kind of big compassionate move. Right. We're trying to save these people from awful places. Well, you know, we've taken them and now they're just a tool. I mean, they're a disposable tool. That's really what we have. And it's going to get worse before it gets better, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think people need to understand that these migrants that are coming in, even the ones on these temporary work visas, are taken advantage of by these companies. Like you said, typically they will pay them under the table, which means we can pay them less than minimum wage. And that's another benefit they have, by the way, with hiring these 14 and 15 and 16-year-olds, because even if they're regular U.S. citizens, you can still pay somebody under the age of 16 below minimum wage for I think about 6 months.
Is it 6? Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is.
So you save so much money.
And then move them out after 6 months, or they're injured after 6 months. They're so plentiful.
Yeah.
But it used to be corporations. We had to export the work, right? We had to go to India or China or Mexico, and so, and the industry was. The corporations were saving tons of money, putting American workers out of work. But that wasn't even enough. You see, that wasn't even enough. Because in India, they started getting smart. They said, no, you know what, you want to come here, we're going to start raising what you got to pay. So industry now says, well, we'll figure out another way. We'll open the borders, let everybody in, and in there we got a whole new workforce, right?
Yeah, and this actually goes all the way back, you know, about 20 years to the Bush administration.
Oh, absolutely.
At that time, Bush was talking about, you know, we got to start restricting immigration into the country, and the U.S. Chamber stepped in on behalf of Tyson Foods, because we did a segment on it 20 years ago.
Right.
They stepped in and they said, no, we need these people. And ever since then, that's really been the policy. You see the politicians, they use immigration for political benefit, saying, oh, I'm going to build a wall, or I'm going to shut this down and issue an executive order. But nobody actually really does anything meaningful because the corporations behind the scenes say, no, I've got to have these people in here because this is my cheap labor, and you're going to cut into my profits if you actually do something.
About 20 years ago, well, it was Bill Clinton. We started hearing globalization, how it's going to really increase opportunity for American workers. Bullshit. All it was going to do is increase opportunity for big corporations. Yeah. And when you see these folks meeting in Sweden or Paris, France, and they're behind closed doors meeting about what's our next move, it doesn't include us, okay? It doesn't include the folks watching this show. It includes the folks that are the captains of industry, the big banks, the big corporations, everybody who has a lot of money and a lot of power to throw on. Those are the folks that benefit by globalization. This is an example right here. But they've sold globalization like, oh, this is the panacea. This is so great for everybody. And as a matter of fact, if you're critical of it, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, how can you be critical of globalization? Well, look at Detroit, okay? Look at Chicago. Look at the big cities that have lost everything in this thing called globalization and never recovered. So now, rather than sending stuff out of the country and saying, China, can you build this cheap? India, can you build this cheap? Hey, just let them all in. Let everybody in and take as much advantage of them as you can. Just do everything you can to take advantage of them.
Yeah, and the companies get the big press because, oh, look how great we are. We're hiring 40,000 of these people. Give them a
Tyson
better chance.
Foods, right?
Yeah.
We're they go on the news and they say, we're hiring 40,000 people, and they get so much pushback that they say, okay, we'll just start closing our facilities. We won't hire the 40,000. They're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to do it anyway, but they're making it look like, well, your position on this has caused us to close 3 or 4 facilities.
That it had helped dirty money flow through its branches around the world, including at least 800...
Plaintiffs allege that the defendants provided money and medical goods to terrorist groups Hezbollah and Jaish al-Mahdi.
This is a well-organized business for these individuals that carry out these attacks. Terrorism is a business, and they run it like a business.
They knew about what was going on for a decade. They absolutely, no question about it, knew that HSBC was washing money. They had every reason to understand it was for terrorism and it was for drug cartels. Took no action whatsoever.
These banks are involved. Their accounts are connected, and they're using them to mask the transactions. The more complicated they can make the transactions, the more distance they can put between the bad guys and a seemingly legitimate purpose of these funds.
They pay $1.9 billion, which is a drop in the bucket compared to what they've made, and nobody goes to prison. These CEOs, these bankers that made this decision, they're safe at home. They know what they've done. It's resulted in the death of Americans, contractors and soldiers, not just hundreds, but thousands. And we look the other way because they don't look like criminals. The die is cast. The people that are responsible are on Wall Street.
And they don't look like criminals. It's almost a suspension of disbelief. Sometimes I'll have people call me and say, is this real? Do they really get away with this? Yeah, they do.